Nobody wants to be famous unless you're going to earn money from it. Trust me, it's not what it's made out to be. I've come out the other end. I've done the suicide thing, tried to hang myself. Loyalty is a massive thing for me now.
For those of you who were around in the 90s, you'll know Katie Price as Jordan's found herself on the end of outrageous headlines and front pages of the newspaper. Let's get up close and personal and see what it's like to be sat around the dinner table. Katie Price. For those that remember you in the 90s, might remember you as a different name, and actually that's where I want to start, of course, the Jordan. My very first question, and I could have obviously researched this and found this out.
Let me guess. Why would you call Jordan?
Yes, tell us, come on.
Do you know what? If I got £1 for every time I got asked that, I'd be rich on my own, which is that. So basically, when I left school, I was training to be a registered nurse. And then obviously, yeah, I know it baffles people that, but I was trained to, I was doing my Project 2000. And then I got into this industry and I was never going to do, basically I went to a glamour agency because I was too short to do fashion and they all turned me down. Then I went to a glamour agency, but they say that doing page 3 can stop you doing a lot of other work. So someone didn't turn up for a page 3 shoot. So they said, look, if you do it, Kate, we'll change your name for it. And I remember just being on the phone, because in them days they did like a caption. It was a guy called Beverly Goodway. He was a man. I thought it was a woman. But and you used to have a caption with page 3. Anyway, they said...
You're acting like I'm 14. I do remember page 3, though.
Right, but some people might not. You know, I might have some movies on it.
That's true.
I'm a MILF, you know. Anyway... So they just said, we'll change your name for it. I said, okay, what should I be called? And they said like Lisa, Joanne, Jordan. I said, oh, Jordan, that would do, Jordan.
Why didn't they like Katie? They just didn't think it fit.
It can stop you doing other work. I don't know, it's weird.
Oh, so it's like a fake persona. Right.
And then I didn't get in the page 3. I went along for the shoot and I actually didn't get in the paper for the page 3. But then Demi Moore's striptease film came out and they were looking for a model from Monday to Friday to literally take a bit of clothing off each day. And I did that. And then I did page 3. But then I was banned from page 3 after a year because I've got my boobs done. And you're not allowed to have boobs.
But then I just had a look at your Wikipedia and it seems that you're on pretty much every newspaper and every magazine there were going after that. So it must have been a good thing getting banned from the Sun.
Well, I got ripped off, actually. Luckily, the papers did want to know about me because I had an agent at the time. And when I got my first mortgage when I was 18, you obviously need to show what you can earn. And I had the Daily Star and the Sun both wanting me. And then the Sun said to me, look, we'll have you exclusively for 3 months. So they basically paid me, which I thought was 25 grand, which was a lot of money back then when I was 18. Anyway, when I bought the house, I said to the agent, I need to see my contract. Oh, no. Anyway, I got hold of the Sun. I actually got 50 grand for it, not 25 grand. And that was my first experience of being ripped off in this industry because it happens everywhere.
And actually, I want to go back to that quickly because just when we started, you said I was going to go to be did you say nurse?
A registered nurse, yeah.
Registered nurse. And then you got into this, I can't remember, what word did you use? Industry. Did you say bullshit? Or why are you still in it 2 decades later then?
How do I get out of it? Even if I fart, they write about it. I can't do anything. I don't know how I'm still here because when I started, there was models like Joanne Guest. I don't know if anyone remembers Joanne Guest. Emma Noble, she did The Price is Right. You know, all these models I used to look up and think, oh my God, I want to be famous and that like them. And now I'm like, nobody wants to be famous unless you're going to earn money from it. Trust me, it's not what it's made out to be. But I didn't think, you know, I started when I was 17, 18. I'm 44 now. I never thought I'd still be here now. I've only thought like 2 years a model like ends up doing their career. But I am still here. Don't know. Now, maybe the people out there, the public, keep me here because they're obviously still interested. I still do my TV shows. You know, the BBC and Channel 4 are always arguing over me. They want to do this, they want to do that. There's still a demand for me. Don't know.
You're very controversial, aren't you? I think there's a bit of a pendulum swing with you. Even have you actually read your own Wikipedia page before?
No, because I don't. Apparently, Google knows how many boob jobs I've had, so I don't Google nothing. Google.
How many have you had?
I don't know. That's the answer. I actually don't even know. I don't believe everything I read on there, because there's things and I'm like, I have to question myself and say, did I do that? Have I done that? No.
Well, there's some good and there's some bad. That's the thing. There's some really, really good and really, really bad, but very comprehensive. Obviously, we're talking 20 years worth of stuff.
Well, you've got to remember, the media love to bring people down and up and down. And I don't think I've ever had an up yet.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. In this Wikipedia page, they said you've sold 3 million copies of one of your books. Now, that's pretty impressive if you ask me.
Okay, let me ask you something. How many books have I got out?
I know you've got a couple. I did read it briefly. There's one about...
I've got 54 books.
Oh, my God.
And obviously, I can't show you on the podcast, but if you go in my office, when I was doing my Mucky Mansion show here, and all the girls who were getting my books, they couldn't believe how many I've done. 54 books.
I think it was 3 million of one particular book.
Yeah, I think that one was called Being Jordan. I think that one. But these days, unfortunately, the media are so infatuated by putting me down, writing. I think people forget actually what I've done and what I've achieved in my career. I would say I'm a perfect person to take round the dinner table, not just because it'll all be about me. It's just the stories and the places I've been, people I've met. It's unbelievable. Like, if you think I was 18 and then I joined the Formula One team, the Jordan team, because I've got the name Jordan, and I went out with Ralph Schumacher. And even if you think that word, I was flying all around the world at 18. Like, I haven't come from a family with money, like just a normal girl, and then suddenly I'm being flown here, there, everywhere on my own. That does take a lot of balls, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Having to socialise in all these different situations, thrown in the deep end, and I never had a portfolio, so I used to not really go on many castings because I was brunette, curly hair. I stood out differently in the glamour industry because they're normally blondes. And then the girls used to hate me, like, oh, who does she think she is? She's just turned up. But I used to just get the job. So I think personality gets you far, I think, in a lot of it.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, the whole point of this podcast is turning your adversity into an asset. And you've been through a lot of shit over the years, and we could name it.
You're going through it.
At the end of, I know you was on that. Actually, I saw a piece of you in the paper today. Actually, someone from there. It was, what's his name? Reed, claiming some money against you.
You know what I've learned? So my advice to people is, it's nice to get married, but it's more expensive to divorce. That's my
right. And how many times have you been married?
3.
Right, and 3 divorces. 3 unhealthy ones as well, I should imagine.
Do you know what I've actually learned? And I can actually say this by having therapy, because we can all go through all of this. So I'll talk to you about everything. That I think, because lots of things happened to me when I was younger with men, not nice things. And I think I always wanted validation from a man. I always was needy, wanted to be wanted. Mm-hmm. But now, if I want a man, it's because I want them, not because I need a man. Does that make sense? And I have picked many wrong men in my life, but that's because I'm impulsive, jump into it, and I just love that whole fairy tale. But Jesus, I've got myself in situations and dodgy relationships and rushed marriages. But what can I do? I've been there, done it. Like, I can't change it. It happens.
Is there any part of that that's there to sort of stir up and create a bit of controversy for the media, or is it literally just your life and how it would have panned out even if the cameras weren't watching?
I don't do anything for the media. My life is just like a drama. Like, I'm okay myself. It's just what comes with me, I think. It is just chaos. I would love to wake up one day and not have a drama. I just don't know what it is.
So let's turn this into a little bit more of a positive So we can talk about the media all day long, right? We could be here for hours with you, honestly, just reading it out, let alone talking about it. You have had a tough life, so let's talk about that. So there's a couple of things I want to talk about that. One, let's get a little bit deep now, because this is what this podcast is about.
How deep
What's been one of the
love? How deep? Yeah, go on.
No, not that deep. What's been one of the most significantly bad times in your life?
When I split with Pete.
Okay.
Because I had no management, and that management was still editing mine and Pete's show.
I hate saying goodbyes, but at least I'm not saying goodbye to Pete.
And people actually said now they've seen TikToks. So apparently there's loads of TikToks going about what Pete was like to me on the show, but people didn't pick up.
TikTok didn't even exist then, did it?
No, but now people have picked up actions from then, from the show. But I had it really tough because I wasn't with that management, and literally they tried to destroy me, and they literally did, really. And I think it's from then, it's been hard to come back. Do you know what I mean? I just think it's been quite tough since then. There's just loads of stuff behind the scenes, but I've been gagged, so I'm not really allowed to, I know what I can and can't say. But I just think from then it was quite tough because the papers, it just had Pete on the cover all the time. Like literally, I think it really did affect me and my mental health and everything from then, really. Because it made me...
And did you get therapy for that? You mentioned therapy.
Therapy's a new thing that I've been having, and I wish I had it years ago. Because when, like, I split with him, everything was so fast going, you know, I'm working here, there, and you don't actually have time to think about yourself. And then inside, obviously, things build up, which is why I call them triggers. And I end up knowing what my triggers are. And now I know how to deal with my triggers, but before I didn't, which is why I'd go off on one and cause destruction and
So if you had had therapy 20 years ago, maybe you wouldn't have made so many headlines, but then again, would that have been a good thing?
I would literally say 99.99% of stuff that's written out there is absolute bull. And I don't know where they get their stories from, this and that. But what we do now, we've gone back years and years. I've got a lawyer involved. We've gone back years and years on stories, which I know I can prove are absolute made up, for them to show me the evidence of where they got this story. Even till this day, where's their evidence? Because if you actually go to court, that journalist, for them to write a story, they have to have some kind of evidence to write it. And I know they haven't. They just write what they want. But some people say, Kate, but there's no such thing as bad publicity. But there is, because mentally it affects you. It affects people around me. And it does, you know, there's only so much a human can take. I just think the media have got really cruel. I used to have a really good working relationship with the media. It was fun. And the reason is because every week they'd write about me on the front of the cover. And now they expect me to do a shoot with them and then be nice to me for that week. I've realised, like with friends, loyalty is a massive thing for me now. I've had people come and go in my life. And then when I look back, I have to question, why were they actually my friends? Or why was I doing this shoot, you know? Because I used to go out and I realised I was paying for my own entertainment, because a lot of people couldn't afford to go out in London. And I'd be like, it's all right, I'll pay. And then I remember sitting there one day thinking, if I didn't pay, would these people come out? Are they really my friends then? Well, no one ever offered. It's things like that. I realise now who my friends are. And it's not even about money. It's just loyalty and respect, which I'm only learning now. And like I said about the validation, about I don't need a man. If I want a man, it's because I want them, not because I need a man. But it's, therapy's basically saved my life. When you're in places like the Priory, I don't know if you've been in anywhere like the Priory.
I've been to rehab, Not the Priory though.
But you know what it is, you all sit there in a circle and you hear each other's stories. And sometimes you think, oh my God, are you in here just for that? Or there'll be others and you'll think, bloody hell, you're in here for that. And it puts things in perspective that you're not alone. And what could be small to someone, to me, for someone, is massive to them. Mental health is such a hidden illness, and I never believed in it, but now I do, because I've suffered it. And when you go in places like the Priory, it is a serious illness. Like, and talking about it with people, I think it massively helps. And you're not alone. Do you know what I mean? I think it's amazing places like the Priory and that, and hearing that you're not alone. So many people suffer, don't they?
Absolutely. Well, a lot of the work we do at the Coaching Masters is coaching, which is very, very similar to therapy, but it's more forward-looking. Therapy is like what's happened in the past. Coaching is more like where do you want to go? What's holding you back? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to become? It works in a very similar way where you can still understand yourself on a deeper level.
I would love to do something like working with people with mental health and problems, because I noticed when I was in there, if someone's next to you and they're telling what's happened to them, they're crying, you're not allowed to touch them or console them. You have to let them cry. And I'm the kind of person,
you're not allowed to give them tissues, are you?
But I'm the kind of person who wants to comfort them, and I am a good listener. I'm at taking my own advice. Actually, no, I've got better. But I would love to do that and coach people, because I feel I've gone through so much. I've come out the other end. I've done the suicide thing, tried to hang myself, woke up from it. And to be in even that place of wanting to kill yourself, been there in them dark moments, depressive, where you don't even want to get out of bed. You can't even make a cup of tea. I mean, I've been there. So to come out the other end, I can always identify. And because I know what it's like to be depressed. I know what it's like to be suicidal. And it's quite powerful to be able to sit here and say, I've been there and I know how some people feel about it. And you can get to the other side. You really, really can. It might take time, but there's lots of things I'm still dealing with the therapist, but it's learning how to cope. You'll never forget things. You never, ever will forget what's happened, but it's learning to deal with it and how you move forward. But I didn't know how to deal with situations before. So I might have self-medicated on coke, which is really bad. And everyone was really surprised because they're like, Kate never does stuff like that. But I did, I self-medicated on it because it blocked out everything.
At what point was that in your career?
That was, they're quite recent actually. I never did coke and all that all through my career. I think if I did, I probably wouldn't sustain so long. But I did that and I self-medicated on it, and I'm not proud of it, but that was my coping mechanism. But I've made it through the other end, and that's why if I hear anyone talk or they're depressed, I know they can get through it, trust me. But like you would know, like everything can be noise. There's always there is a solution, but you have to pick what's more priority first and deal with it. Like, I mean, I could sit here ages telling you what I've learned. You know, I'm doing DBT as well.
What triggered you to want to actually explore, like, I'm going to get therapy, I'm going to go to the Priory, I'm going to learn all these different...
Because last year, when I've been in court more times than I've had hot dinners and had the police around, you're like, Kate, this is a wake-up call. I need help. I need to ask for help. My triggers are my exes. My ex-husbands are my triggers. We have all worked that out, and a couple of managers. And that's what I'm working on, because a lot of people don't realise what goes on behind closed doors. But I can sit and say my triggers are them people. So
do you think that you will explore another relationship at some point? Or are you, I mean, how if that's your trigger and you know that's a very dangerous area for you to go down, is that something you're going to avoid? Or? But
there's reasons why they're my triggers. You know, they gang up on me. I mean, I've grown up now, so I'm not going to sit here and slag off and this and that, because it doesn't get you anywhere. But they are my triggers. They know how to push my buttons, but now I know I react in a different way to how I would before. Like, for an example, if someone anyone texts you and you're like, what the and then you ramp back, that doesn't get you anywhere. But if you sit back, look at the message, you can say it in your head, and by the time you come to about 10, 20 seconds, it's just not worth writing back. Just leave it. Whereas before, I'd be like, rant on, or I'd go on Instagram, like, what do I benefit from that? I don't. I get myself in trouble, and it just causes arguments. So I've now learned to hold back or think about what I'm going to write back, and my approach is different to things now. Whereas before, they know how I'd react, what I would do, and it got me into trouble. Now they don't know how Miss Price's brain works, because I've changed through my therapy.
Do you actually think you've changed? Can you say that you have changed?
1,000,000% I've changed. 1,000,000%.
In what ways?
Just how, like, I'm normally a yes person, and I realise you got to look after yourself as well. I don't like letting people down. And I can't exhaust myself. You do have to look after yourself. I can't do everything. I'm a single mum. I've got all my kids. I run the ship, and it's like, I can't, as much as I love working, you've got to look after yourself a bit, because otherwise you get stressed and run down, and then you're no good for anyone. So I only pick and choose the jobs I want to do now, because I want to enjoy them. There's more to life than, I know we all want to earn money and stuff, but you can't take it with you. Just value friendships, do things that I want to do now, not do things I'm told to do, or because it'll make that person happy. What's the point? I'm still a naughty little girl inside. Like, don't get.
In what way? Tell me how you're a naughty little girl as well. I want to hear that.
And it's like, ta-da! She's here. The room lights up when I'm here. I can hold my own, hold the room, get the party going. That will never change. But I just know how to handle situations now in more of a grown-up way.
Cool. I've got one new one, which I think you'll probably not like. It's the most recent. It's the most recent entry that's been put in on your Wikipedia, as I can see.
Oh, I love it. Go on.
Katie Price put herself on OnlyFans and only made £150 despite begging everybody to subscribe to it.
Do you do OnlyFans?
No, I don't know.
Do you know anyone who does it?
Yep.
Do they make a lot of money?
They do, yes.
There you go. There's your answer. Do you think someone who's been doing a career out of that for 25 years is only going to make £150? Maybe put a few more zeros on that, and then that'd be the correct.
So where do they get this? Where do they get this shit from? They just make it up?
Like, once I was in the rich list and the Times list, I've got it upstairs all framed, because my mum frames stuff like that. Like, I've gone from the rich list to then the bankruptcy to and then I can't keep up myself, honestly.
So how do you cope with it? That's the question I've got for you. How do you manage to stay so resilient for 20 years?
I mean, I don't think I have now. I think that's why I've had the therapy, because it did all end up building up. Because, I'm human, and I've been in real life situations as well. But the frustrating thing for me is people only hear what they want to hear. They don't actually hear the truth or the real reasons of certain situations. And I think that's the damaging thing for me, because it's like you're in water and you're trying to climb up and gasp for air, and then you're bopped on the head back down again. And now I think I don't have to go anywhere and justify anything anymore. Justify what? To who? I know the truth. My family know the truth. And I think I'm living proof that I can be knocked down to the gutter, like literally the gutter, and I still come up determined. I love working. I love my job. I love creating things like perfume, makeups, books. I would never stop. I absolutely love it. And there are people out there, public out there, or fans. I know that sounds really cliche, whatever, but it's true, who are interested and who have got my back, who keep me here.
Of course they will.
Like my next book, I know it's going to do amazing, because my last book ended on me and Kieran doing our vows after he cheated on me of two of my best friends of 25 years. Now, so much has happened since then.
That was your last book?
That was how it ended, the last book. My autobiographies always do well, and I love writing them because, well, I say write them, I speak in a dictaphone. I don't sit there and write them.
It says here you've had them ghostwritten by Rebecca somebody or other.
No, and do you know what? Rebecca died a few years ago. I was gutted. We had such a good relationship. Yeah, that was a shock. Was. But yeah, I wouldn't know how to write a book. I'd speak in a dictaphone and then someone writes it up. Like, that's talent in itself, but not many people would want to admit that, but of course I do. But no one can make my biography up. That's my life. So that's my words. I just don't sit there and write it.
Have you done that in the dictaphone yet?
What, my next book? In the past few years, I had 3 kidnap threats, serious ones. I was held at gunpoint in South Africa in front of my kids, filming. A lot of serious stuff has happened to me. And I remember when I did SAS, the show SAS, I didn't last long on it, but because I wasn't fit. I'd had my boobs done 6 weeks before, which isn't really clever. But anyway, they said mentally I was one of the most strongest people they'd met, especially when they interrogate you, that it was just slipping off my tongue. Yeah, I've had a kidnap threat, this. I mean, it's not normal. Like, one kidnap threat could finish someone off for life. And that's one thing my doctor said in the Priory. He's never, ever met anyone who's had continuous real life event traumas continuously that's happened to them. So you are going to break at some point, and I did break, which is why I ended up in the Priory. And otherwise I wouldn't be here now. It's a good place.
Is this a very recent thing then?
These were past sort of 4 years, yeah. But I've come out the other end. Yeah, I've come out the other end. And now I do the OnlyFans. I absolutely love that, because that's all people have got to remember. I was a glamour model, and that's all I know. I live and breathe. Doing OnlyFans is good. Although I don't go completely naked. I don't show everything because I've got kids.
So is OnlyFans the main thing now then? Is that because it's a subscription model, so it's quite good. Once it's there, it's there?
OnlyFans, I do my Channel 4 and the BBC, because obviously Harvey was up for 2 NTAs, National TV Awards, for that. So I've got another third series I'm starting to film this month, 2 days this month, and then the whole of March. And then Channel 4, they're doing the third, or was it fourth series of This House, Mucky Mansion, finishing that. And I'm doing other documentaries. And the good thing about that is I had to ask the BBC and Channel 4 if I could do OnlyFans, because it has a stigma to it. I mean, if you go on OnlyFans, it's like anything. You can go as far as you want or as clean as you want.
Well, I know gymnasts on there, for example, but also no porn stars on there. Yeah.
This is what I mean. So I asked them, and the thing is, you can Google me anyway and see me with boobs, like, or whatever, or when I did Playboy and stuff. So it's not like it's not out there, but at least I respected and asked them, because I enjoy doing like my TV stuff. So I'm lucky I can do all of it.
When do you think you'll hang your, what's the expression? You're just going to keep going until they get bored of you, which probably won't ever happen.
Anyone will get bored of me, I think, because there's just so much that happens, you know. I've got a surrogate.
God, that must be for the papers. Come on, don't tell me that one naturally just unfolded. I haven't got
many eggs anymore. I'm 44. I want another baby. So what am I supposed to do? I can't pop it out.
So who's having it?
I've got this lady. It'd be my egg.
I've got this lady. Found this lady. Where'd you find her?
She's been a fan of mine for years, and she actually does do surrogacy.
So how does that work then? Where does the sperm come from?
Well, if I was with anyone, it'd be them. If not, it'd be a sperm donor.
I'll give you a bit if you want.
Well, you'd want one with me, would you?
Yeah, let's do it. It'll be on the front page now.
I don't want to be on the front page. I've been there, done that.
Well, let's go back to the surrogacy thing and me being the father thing, though, because I think that's interesting. You do like a younger man, don't you? Is that still?
I always liked a younger man, but I think the trouble is, it's not because I don't go for older men. I just don't think they can handle me.
What? The older men?
I've changed.
They're too mature.
No, I think because I am quite energetic and I'm quite bantery. You know, like when you get in the car, even when I've been with younger guys, well, I get in the car and the music's loud and they're like, oh, turn it down. I'm like, all right, granddad. Like, it should be the other way round. I'm the old one. I should be like, turn the music down. But I'm like the little girl race with the cherry exhaust still, like, you know, boom, boom, what my music.
Really?
I'm so immature, but mature at the same time. I can't wait to get my driving license back. So I've been banned 6 times and I get it back in June. And trust me, my car's going to be like a UFO from Tokyo on the street. Lights underneath, the cherry exhaust, the fat sound system. Here we go.
Oh my God. Do you know what? I take the surrogacy offer back, unfortunately, Katie. I'm speechless. This was supposed to be adversity, but this sounds like quite a good life.
You know, you need to be on here again. I mean, we haven't even spoke about Playboy Mansion, the Oscars, American Formula One. Remember, I even toured like America with Hugh Hefner because I was the first girl to be on the cover of American Playboy. We haven't even covered any of that. Nothing.
That's because you won't shut up. That's why. I've got loads of questions for you there.
At least I'm good to have on a podcast. At least I
you are good.
And don't answer.
You are good.
No.
You are good.
Maybe I
You
can't.
argue. Lots of material for me. Lots of material.
That's another thing. What is it with me? I just want to be covered in tattoos now. I love them.
It's an addiction. I think I got a bit addicted to it, must admit.
No, but I think they look nice though. They do look nice. I love this because I love horses. I like this. So I think I've got this one done in Koh Samui. Look. You see it's
Thailand.
gone.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. Love it. Love it.
I could completely strip off naked and be literally head to toe in tattoos right now, but don't think I'll do it. I'm not as controversial as you are.
Why don't you go and put some more blonde in your hair? You know,
Would you not like it? You've had many a boyfriend with blonde hair.
you know, I was blonde like you. I've just gone dark. What do you prefer, brunette or blonde? Do you think I look all right before then?
You're doing all right.
Do you think I'm doing all right? I'm fucking banging. I'm joking.
You've done well to stay in the game as long as you have. You've kept it up. I'll give you that.
Hard. The thing is, because I'm still quite young, which is good. I mean, I say young, like I'm young-hearted. That all these girls, when I look at it, who do OnlyFans and all these influencers, they are literally in their 20s. And it's not that I'm trying to be in my 20s, but that they are people I have to compete with. But I'd still get away with. I tell you what, I can give them a run for their money in a photo shoot, and I know that. I will wipe the ass with them.
When do you think the cut-off point will be? If you're like 55, do you reckon you're still going to give it a go to compete with them lot?
Yeah, because I'll have 55. That's only like a few years away. What you want about? I will have the perfect tits. The face would be amazing.
You're still going to have another job, are you?
No, I'll
still got a few more.
Yeah, and then I'll have my face. I'll be all like.
You're doing pretty good with the non-wrinkle thing. Is that just a ton of Botox or?
No, it's just me.
I've got more wrinkles than you, and
How old are you?
32.
Are you? Are you? I'm not saying nothing. Are you? No, I'm joking.
What are you trying to say?
Why do you live in Bali then?
Well, I like to live a freedom-based lifestyle. I live out of 2 suitcases, travel around, live in England, live in Dubai, Bali, on the beach.
I love, do you know what I love to do when I go to Thailand? And like, no one gives a shit what you look like. I just love Thailand. I always say.
Have you been to Bali yet?
No, Ryan keeps wanting me to go to Bali. I've never been. Like,
Well, come to Bali. I'll be your surrogate. We'll make the front page of the paper, and we'll go from there. Yeah.
Hold on, when you're a surrogate, you have to in the pot. You know, that's how it works.
No, that's not as exciting.
All
right. You're a woman that has shown some serious resilience, and I give you that, right? How would you share that with other people? And they want to turn their adversity into an asset because you've used the media and all this controversy to build a brand, to become an entrepreneur, to make money, to thrive, and still live through it and enjoy life.
Remember, there's always someone in a place. It's not always as bad as you think. Now, of work and things like that, we can all sit and dream. We can all sit and dream we're going to win the lottery, but the likelihood is we're not. But what I will say is be realistic in really what you want to do and how you're going to achieve it. The thing is, these days, it's a lot different because it's all platform based now. It's like, I mean, I had to proper graft my way to get where I am. But anyone these days don't have to get their bikini off on Instagram and they say I'm a model or whatever. Just be realistic about what you want to do. And remember, don't stress yourself out because you can't take anything with you. And just try and be happy with people you're with and try not mix with the wrong crowd. Look at me, I've given myself advice here. Yeah, it is hard. But when you are depressed and in a rut, you can get out of it. It won't happen overnight. You've got to want to do it. And no one else can tell you to do it. If someone else is saying, do this, do that, it's going to make you worse. Only you can make that change. If you want to do something, you can do it. And you don't do it for anyone else. You've got to do it for yourself, basically. Because the amount of times I've heard, why are you doing this yourself, Kate? Why are you doing that? Can't you do this? And you just want to say, just f*** off, leave me alone, like, because you don't know how to cope. But one day you'll wake up and you'll be like, do you know, I am going to try this. I am going to get out of bed today. I am going to do the washing. I am going to do the dishwasher. And each day, do something more and more and more. And then you'll get back into a bit of normality. Then your head would be more straight. But also talk to people who aren't around you, impartial people, I would say.
Some good advice there. Maybe there is a life coach to be made out of you, Katie Bryce.
Trust me. If I'm not a life coach, Jesus, I could be good on disability, talking about all of that. So we haven't even covered me in the Houses of Commons yet, have we? So I think we need to do another podcast here.
Let's do a part 2. Are you going to commit to a part 2 when it's not 10:30 at night for Bali?
Oh, well, where are you going to go? Partying?
No, I'll be in bed.
Are you going to bed? Really?
We're not all as mental as you. I want to go home and sleep.
I do love it. I like 9 hours. This is something you don't know about. I like 9 hours.
There we go. So don't give it all that. Oh, you're going to party and now you love 9 hours.
I do, and I like to cook. I'm actually very homely, actually.
This is a question I had for you, actually. Who is the real Katie Price? The one that, you know, your friends know, but not the one the media knows, the real one. That
really is me. I'm actually a really homely girl. I have got these sides. Like, I'm quite happy to be at home. My house, I like to make, is it the word a TARDIS? Is that the word? Or something where I whack the heat.
Never heard of it.
I think I made it. You'll get to know I say things back to front. I like my house to be a house where it's full of heat, full of food, and it's the kind of house you can say, help yourself to anything, don't ask, and then have people just stay here, watch movies, or I'll cook. I'm very much like that. But then there's a side of me that if we want to go out, I can have a wild night as well. But I can't do that all the time because that would just kill me.
And what about working? Like, how does your sort of entrepreneurial stuff work when you're like, I want to open a new perfume line?
Well, funny enough, I'm going to be doing that with Princess.
How old is she now?
15. She's 16 June.
Question for you there, because she's obviously a very beautiful young girl. Is she going to follow in her mum's footsteps, or is she...
She can't wait to do the perfumes, the makeup, and I am the one. The press calls the lot. She's
probably going to be she's going to be your protege, isn't she? She's going to...
Yeah, I know what she wants to do. The same as me, perfume, makeup, and all of that. And the good thing, and Julia, because he does his music, they've been brought up in this industry. So they're really good with being interviewed and all of that as well. They're quite astute to it all. But yeah, I have to say, she just wants to do what I do. I don't think she'd do...
I think she might end up giving you a run for your money, you know? How would you feel if she sort of exceeded your level of success? Would that be a proud moment or a you bitch moment?
I love the saying, there's only one pricey.
What if she proves you wrong? And what about with the, the internet and the TikToks and the reels and the virality, and within hours or months, or, she becomes this sensation? How would that make you feel?
Yeah, I hope she does, because I say to her, these days it's so different. If you think when I started, it was literally print, newspapers and magazines. You didn't even have a voice back then. It was just a picture and whatever they wanted to write. No voice. Nowadays, you have a voice because you can talk on Instagram, you can do your TikToks.
Probably done you a favour, to be fair. So you're going to promise me are you going to promise me two things? One, you're going to do me a part 2.
Yeah.
And you're going to do it a little bit earlier, so I've got a bit more energy. And 2, I'm going to be your surrogate for your future baby.
That's you wishing and hoping and wishing and hope. Oh my God, my music. We haven't even spoke about my music.
No one cares about music, Katie. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm telling you, you'll be surprised with my next hit single. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Right.
Right, all right then.
Guys, you're going to listen to this on part 2 of Turning Your Adversity into an Asset. This has been a slightly unusual episode of Turning Your Adversity into an Asset. But yeah, wait for part 2 and we'll see what else Katie has got in store for us. But Katie, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. And I promise I'll be better on the next one.